Man, oh man, when I put on this shirt, I'm bringing back memories. Fort Jackson. Fort Jackson. I'm telling you, shout out to Fort Jackson. Now, I acquired this shirt because my son also went through training, of basic training for Fort Jackson. And you cannot imagine the pride of knowing that my son, while he was in a different company, marched, ran on the same track, the same environment that I did. Now, mind you, going back to the post, it's changed completely. But I mean, Fort Jackson, Fort Jackson. This video is going to be about buddy letters and those relationships that you build while you're in the service and how they can come back to benefit you greatly years, decades, a century after you've left. So buddy letters is the emphasis of this particular video. So stay with me, put your boots on, and let's get to it. And I can't say enough about veterans. I really just can't say enough about veterans. Not because I am one, just because of the camaraderie and the affection and the ability that we have to instantaneously bond and support one another. So the buddy letter, as it relates to applying for your VA disability, is critical in your success. And I want to give the example from my own experience. Verna is a young lady. At the time, we were all young in the service, with whom I was stationed with at a location, at a post. So with that being said, we cut it up. I mean, if it could have been turned up like this, that's what we would have done, but it wasn't. It was probably, the bump or something. Okay, not that far back. But nonetheless, going way back, we did our thing together. We marched together. We worked together. We cried together. We did everything together, back then. And unfortunately, we had a car accident together as well. And while I would not have known it at the time, she was a few years older than me. Her maturity and guidance, supported me through a very difficult time in my youth. And at that time, and I don't mean to keep saying particular, but that's what we're using today. So at that time, in the car accident, I had it with her. She wasn't a driver, but she was the one teaching another young soldier how to drive. And I didn't have a driver's license at all. Now, I was easily 21 years old at the time. I didn't have a driver's license, but I definitely knew how to be a rider. And I rode with Verna while she was teaching another young soldier how to drive. And that young soldier got in the car, gunned it, hit a storefront, and crashed. And needless to say, I was in the car. I fell forward, I fell backwards, and injured myself. The rest of the story, she'll have to tell, because I have no recall of it whatsoever. Now, it may be due to the injury, it may be due to time, but the reality is I have no real recall. But Verna, in her mother-like wit at the time, of course she reported it. It was her car. And she championed that I do the same. Now let's fast forward decades thereafter, and I'm attempting to file to get the compensation that I'm deserved in my rating for my VA disability. And I acquire my VA records, which I'll give you the link in order to do that as well. Hey, okay, so I decided to go that extra mile and to take you to the site myself so that I'm sure that not only did you get to the site, but you're not derailed as I was when I first saw it, because the site has changed. So it's archives.gov is the site, and you see there that it says Veterans Service Records. So you're going to go there. That would be your first instinct, to go there. So you're going to click that, and it's talking about that there's delays because of. Now, I requested my records years ago, and I've supported other veterans with acquiring their records within the past year, and it takes easily, this was pre-COVID, it took easily 3 months for me to receive my records back. In an effort not to let the buddy content get bogged down with pursuing medical records, I just want to say that I'm just getting started, people, and you need to subscribe, you need to like, you need to have that notification bell on so that you can get what will be a wealth of information that I'm sure that will be of benefit to you. So with that being said, let's look at the red dot. Okay, you see the red dot? That's where you're going to click, and it's going to take you to a list of and it'll take you to another page that is going to again reiterate why they are slow. And I don't know why they didn't tell you any of that why before they were slow. Nevertheless, once you get here, then it's going to give you the information about how to acquire your VA medical records. And I don't want to get bogged down in this content with acquiring your records. If you made it this far, thank you so very much. Hit like, click subscribe, and put the notification bell on, because I'm going to be putting out another video that's going to go more in depth with regards to applying for your medical records. That's going to give you a workaround so that you can acquire possibly even more information that's going to help support your claim to your 100%. Okay, now here it's listing the different branches and the kinds of discharge that you may have received and where that particular location is for you to apply. So you click one of those, and then it's going to take you, which takes you to the next page where it's going to give you the specific VA that you need to apply to request your records. Now, why did I go through all the records information? Because one, a lot of us vets don't have our records. I mean, I didn't think to take my medical records when I left out of the service. Some have, some don't, but a lot of us don't. So get your records, because how are you going to know what particular incidents you need to contact a buddy about unless you get them? So that's why I highly recommend getting your records. But remember, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because I am going to give you a workaround on how to get records that will absolutely support. I acquired my VA record, and sure enough, in my VA record, I'm having an examination following the traffic accident, or forget what it was called, but because I don't have the paper right in front of me. But the point I'm trying to make here in this video is that because Verna and I were such dear friends and were able to reconnect decades thereafter, she was able to support me in writing a buddy letter. And here it is, the VA form statement in support of claim. So form number is 21-4138, and you can simply Google it. I would highly recommend you use a fillable so that you can type the information in, and pay close attention to how it's listed in terms of your name. It's first name and then last name, and not the other way around. Of course, you're going to put in your social security number, your address, and the other pertinent information with regards to how to reach you. Make sure that it's where you can be reached. If you're temporarily housing someplace, put in a permanent address, your parents' address, an aunt's address, someplace where you know you'll receive mail, and a phone number that you know you can be reached at. So with that being said, another reason why I say that put it into this form is because you can also type in a great deal of information, and it's sure to be scanned in effectively when you send it, whether you scan it in or mail it in. It's easily legible. However, you do not have to have this form. You could type it in a Word document, but I definitely, again, recommend that it be typed. But not all of us have the resources to do so. So by any means necessary, this buddy statement is needed very much to identify the incident that happened. So they're going to use descriptive information. They're going to talk about when, where, how, and what happened, as well as the observable symptoms that you had. Was your leg visibly broken? Did you break out into a sweat? Did you complain immediately holding your neck? And you're going to, a statement is for that individual that witnessed this trauma that occurred to you, is for you to let them identify from their perspective what they saw and how it impacted you. And then, of course, at the bottom, a signature. So I much prefer to use this form simply because it's official, and it makes sure that it holds accountable any individual that might be filling this out fraudulently. But again, I have turned them in before when it was quite lengthy. A Word document. Now, of course, someone will say, do you have a sample? And here's where I say, I got you. Use Google. I use Google for everything. And that buddy letter provided the evidence that I needed to champion my claim, that this incident did in fact happen, that I was in fact injured, that she was in fact a witness, and that she filed the appropriate documentations at the time in order to validate it. She provided that buddy letter for me and gave it to me, and I submitted it to the VA, as evidence of my experience. Now, am I saying that was the golden ticket? I don't know. But what I am saying is that was a key piece in order for me to validate my circumstance that this injury did in fact happen. Okay, quick recap. Get it all together. Request your medical, dental, and psychological reports. If you've had any encounters while you was in the service, ask for those records, and they come separately. Connect with the buddy. If they can't type, type it for them. The verification is their signature that it is in fact their statement. And when you go click intent, you have an entire year to pull this all together. Do not pull the trigger on your claim until you have all the information together, because once you submit that claim, you can't go back and change it up. It's submitted for that particular incident. Buddy letters are important. More as important as a buddy. If you're new in the service or you're just coming out of the service, keep the names of those people with whom you've had a relationship. Your life may go on into a completely different direction. But it is my hope and desire that no matter what direction you go into as a veteran, that you'll always be able to come back around to those relationships that you forged in this service. I know I did. I know I will. And I hope you do too. So if you need to make that connection, you're able to find them. Find them on Facebook, find them on Pinterest, find them on Instagram, find them any which way you can via the name that they had at that time. And reach out, connect, be their connection. You don't know how they can help you, and you don't know how you can help them. But you gotta have that buddy. But you gotta have and maintain that connection. Because it's what gets us all through. Friendships are what gets us all through during difficult times. And this is a difficult time that we're having right now. We're coming through it in terms of COVID-19, but we don't know how far we have to go. Reach out to those buddies and say, hey, how you doing? Hua. I'm still here. So with that, I love you, buddy. Then, now, and for life. Thank you, everyone. Subscribe, share, like, and put the notification bell on.